a disability is not an inability. That's the legacy I want to leave. To show people that you can do anything that you put your mind to. Even though you're able, people who are able also fail. They also feel like they limit themselves. So I want to remove that barrier of limitation. There are very few people who are disabled who are in jobs, not because they don't have the qualifications, but because they think that they're not ready to do so. If we check banks, let's talk about customer service, so many jobs, you will not find someone who's disabled. Why? Because society thinks as though we can't do it. And whenever time gets hard, I'd always pray. And for some reason, I'll just feel certain peace. And I'll be like, you've managed yesterday, you can go today, and you go through tomorrow. So I feel like the Holy Spirit has been my guide from day one. I'm the type of person who wants to be out there, but this course makes me want to be behind the scenes. So I'm actually trying to see how I can shift from doing this course to doing something that will make me speak to people, that to show them that, oh, she's disabled, but look at what she's doing, look at how she's handling these tasks. Because in the lab, I'm just running samples. The doctors are the ones who are giving them the results.
Hello and welcome to the Money and People podcast, the show where we connect the dots between financial success and the power of human capital. Today on the show, we are joined by a remarkable young lady, Thandiwe Chipeta. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, and I'm so happy to be here.
We are excited to have you. And we are going to be discussing the topic Born Different, Destined for Impact, a Zambian medical graduate's journey from disability to purpose. I am so excited.
I am too.
And for those people in our audience who don't know who you are or haven't come across your work, who is Thandiwe Chipeta?
Okay, so Thandiwe Chipeta is a girl who was born disabled, but that wasn't a limitation to her. I grew up to realize that I can change the world one step at a time. And so I'm here to change the trajectory, change people's mindset to say that even though you are born disabled, you can still do a great impact. You can still do so much. You can't let the world define you. You have your own story to make.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. It's a powerful intro.
Thank
And
you.
before we get into the heart of the conversation, we'll just break the ice a little bit with some fun questions.
Okay.
So, if someone is meeting you for the first time, what's one word that you would use to describe yourself?
Outgoing.
Ooh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, I'm very outgoing.
Okay, so what are some of the things that you like doing out there?
I like going out for lunch. I just like being out there, going for movies, going for games, talking to people. I love making new friends. I like interacting with people. So yeah, that's basically where you find me, in a place where there's network involved. I have to be there.
Okay, interesting. And what's one thing people are usually surprised to learn about you?
That I can cook.
Okay.
Yes, they'll be like, "So you cook this food?" And I'm like, "Yes, I can."
Yeah.
hmm
What do you love to cook most?
Fries. I also
Okay.
love cooking delele and
Oh,
cabbage. Yeah.
okay.
Chicken. I forgot chicken. And chicken as well,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. And what
Mhm.
do you think fueled this passion for cooking?
I think it's my mom just tasting her food, and I was like, I also have to make sure I'm as good as she is. So I think that's what fueled it.
Okay, great job,
hmm
ma'am. And if your life had a theme song
hmm
right now, what would it be and why?
I think it's God Work It Out by Maverick City. That song just reminds me that one thing I know, one thing I ask is that God will always work it out, regardless. The fact that He brought us here on earth, He has a plan for us. So God will always work it out.
Amazing. And what's one small win from this past year that
Mhm.
you're proud of yourself for?
Hmm. I think accepting myself more. Before, I used to feel like the world has to tell me what to do, what not to do, and just realizing that I'm not living for the world. And so I started setting boundaries, accepting myself for who I am, learning to say no. And I feel like, I don't know if it's a small win or a big win, but for me, I feel like that's one thing that actually changed the whole definition of my purpose here on earth.
Okay, that's interesting. And I think it's a journey.
It
I like
is.
that you even use the word more because sometimes we think we have accepted ourselves,
Yeah.
but there's that extra room. And
hmm
in learning yourself and knowing what you like, what you don't like, what your boundaries are,
Mhm.
communicating them, standing for yourself, those actually
Exactly.
give you more opportunities to learn who you are and to
Mhm.
accept who you are. Okay, so now we get into the heart of the matter.
Okay.
So, when you were growing up, when did you actually realize that you were different, and how did that make you feel at that time?
So I realized this when I was in preschool. I didn't know until someone came up to me and said, "Why do you have two fingers?" And then I looked at my fingers, I looked at everyone else in the class, and everyone had like five fingers on both sides. So I felt like, what's going on? Because all my life I realized that I thought I was like everyone else. So that made me feel scared, to be honest. I think I was scared because it's my first time realizing that I'm actually not who I thought I was. So I went back home, I cried. My mom came to me and she tried to encourage me. But I started living with fear ever since because each morning I'd wake up and say, I hope I have five fingers, and I still find myself with two fingers. So it was a bit difficult, like growing up. Ever since I realized that, my whole life changed. I'd always want to hide my fingers because I'm like, no one should see this. Yeah.
That's amazing. And you had siblings.
Yes. I
They were
have.
like older siblings.
I have one elder sister and a younger brother.
Oh, okay. So before that encounter at school,
Hmm.
like at home, you
I felt like,
didn't know that, okay, my hand is different.
mm-mm,
Wow, your family did a great job of also just making sure that I'm sure maybe they were planning to
mm,
tell you at a certain
yeah,
point. Then the
but it just,
guys at school.
just they disturbed the program.
Yes, yeah. And I'm sure
Hmm.
so then even for them, they must have not been ready to have that conversation yet with you because it was
Yeah.
determined by the fact that the kids at school brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
do you, looking back, do you wish you had the conversation at home
Mm.
instead of the way you found out, or like is it something that you are happy that it just played out
No,
naturally?
I think I wish I had the conversation at home because then I would have known how to respond in a better way. Instead of me crying, I would have reacted properly. Like I would have told them that I know, but I would have found a proper way to explain myself, unlike me acting shocked. So I feel like that's one thing that parents should know when they have a child who's disabled. It's best if it's rooted in our heads to say that I know it's not a conversation that people would want to hear, but it's best if we know our young, so that even as we face society, we'll know how to respond to criticism.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that way then you would have been ready to respond.
Yes.
You would have already dealt with the shock and the fear
Mm-hmm.
from home in
Yeah.
a safe space. Then now it was like more of reactive, right?
Mm-hmm.
But after this, and you had the conversation with the family, how did they help you to build your confidence around your disability?
I think through talks, like each morning, Mom would always tell me that God prepared you. He made you different for a reason and He loves you. And I feel like that would always play in my head whenever I would be faced with such situations. I remember that I was born for a reason and that God loves me. And then my grandma would always ask me that if not you, then who? Then it made me think that every time God creates someone, He knows. So I feel like if He created someone like me, maybe that have killed themselves, maybe they would have done so many other things, but He chose me because He knew that I could handle it. So my family had always rooted that confidence in me by saying that I was created for a purpose. That's how I live my life.
Okay, I like that. And I think that that statement that your grandmother made is rooted in faith,
Mm.
because for her to say, if not you, then
Then
who?
who?
It really speaks to the kind of faith that she has,
Mm.
because I think she was just empowering you to say, you can do this. If God allowed it to happen like this, then God
Yes.
knows that you will be able to journey through life and you will be able to overcome any challenges that
Mm-hmm.
will come as a result of your disability.
It's true.
So, do you feel that because of the way you were born, people had certain expectations of you that were less than other kids who had all their 10 fingers? Were you like treated differently at school from that point? Did you feel that the school made you always feel included from that
Mm-hmm.
point? How was your journey like through school?
Primary was okay because we'll just be there for a few hours, we go back. But then I felt it in secondary because I told myself I'm going to boarding school, and I did. So being at a boarding school was very challenging. You wake up, you're making your bed, they're like, how is she managing? But what used to irritate me the most was on our wash days, because they would assume that I would be begging people to say, please wash for me, please help me out if it's washing the dishes. But I would wake up, get a bucket, and wash for myself. People would stop what they're doing just to see me washing, and they'll be like, look at she's washing. And that used to be very irritating. So I feel like that's one thing that's really hit me, to say that people think I can't do anything at all, that just because I have two fingers, they don't work. But they are a support system. So I can still wash, I can still do everything that people think I can't do. So yeah, I think that's one of the challenges I had when I was in boarding school.
But before you went into boarding school, did your family have concerns about your desire to go into boarding school? I'm sure it wasn't just like, oh, I want to go to boarding school. Okay, you go to boarding school. How did you navigate that desire and that discussion about going into boarding school?
It started from my sister. She was at a boarding school, so I used to enjoy how they'd go visitation to see her, and I was like, I just want to experience that. So when I told mom, she was very concerned. She's like, are you sure? And I said, yes. Whatever I put my mind to, I would do it. So I said, despite the challenges I'll face, I'm going to boarding school. I went in grade 10, and I said I'll be done by grade 12. I'll come back. So they did try to talk me out of it, but I said no. I want to, and I will. And I feel like that's one thing about me. When I'm determined to do something, I have to, regardless of what people say. So even though they tried convincing me not to, I said, no, I'm not listening, I'm going.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love the confidence. Myself, I remember when I was going into the eighth grade, I really, really wanted to go into boarding school.
Hmm.
But my parents didn't want me to go into boarding school.
Really?
Yeah, and we had the conversation and they were like, no.
So you stayed in day school?
Yes, I stayed in day
Oh,
school
no.
and I was always jealous. Like you, like I see people going to boarding school. When they're
Mm-hmm.
going, they buy for them a lot of snacks and stuff. Just the whole adventure. It looked interesting and I felt like, oh my God, I'm really missing out. But well done you for having the confidence at such a young age. I never had that
Thank
confidence.
you.
The moment they just said no,
Mm-hmm.
that was it. And so when we talk about you deciding now after high school, you then went to study your tertiary education abroad.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit more about that? How you decided to go and study abroad, what you studied, and what informed that particular direction that you chose for your career path?
Okay, so funny thing is, I think I manifested it, because when I was in grade 6, I would always tell people that I'm going to study in India. Why? I'm not sure, but I just always said I'm studying in India. And that was in my head. So when the opportunity came, I found myself going there. I was like, wow, our tongue is really powerful. Then when it comes to courses, I initially applied for pharmacy, but the space was full. And the only other option they gave me was either physiotherapy or medical lab, which I did. So physiotherapy felt like a bit long. And I said, even though I want to go abroad, I don't want to be abroad for too long. So I chose
Mm.
medical lab. There, I faced a lot of challenges, not personally, but from the view of people saying, do you know what this course is about? It's a very hands on type of course. Are you going to manage? So I entered into my first semester. People kept asking me, are you in the right class? And I'm like, yes, I am. I know what I'm doing. But yeah, I ended up studying. I shocked people with how I used to perform, because we had both practical and theory. So in my practical classes, I would always show them that I hope you're seeing what I'm doing, seeing that I can manage and whatnot. And yeah, it was a good experience. I learned a lot from it. It also helped me understand myself better as well, to say that I'm not limited to what people think, to how people think I am. Yeah.
Okay. And when you were studying in India, what were some of the challenges that you faced? I'm sure it was a unique experience from
Hmm.
going to boarding school here. If anything happens, you know that you can just call home or go home.
Yeah.
But you were several thousand miles away from your family. How did that go? And again, starting from the conversation of even going all the way to study in India,
Mm.
I'm sure you probably had that conversation again with your family. And so I would just really love to understand your journey and to appreciate it in terms of were there any challenges that you faced while studying in a whole different country?
So the conversation first, when I received the scholarship to study in India, I told my mom about it. She knew about the whole application process, but when it was actually confirmed, we had a talk. She sat me down and said, "You know, you're going away for 3 years. You're not going to be close to home. Will you manage?" And I said, "Yes, I'm sure I will." Thank God for internet, for this new advanced system. We can just call each other, video call. So I told her that I'll still be seeing you, just not in person, but through video calls. I'll be calling if I do need anything. Fast forward, I went to school. And now I'm in a new class. I'm in a new environment. I'm with so many different people. The first weeks were a bit hectic because I didn't know anyone there. At least if I knew someone from school, but I didn't know anyone at all. I started making new friends. I did kind of feel lonely at some point because it was just me. But then I met this roommate of mine and we just became very close from day one. So at least when I feel maybe insecure about myself, because people would always stare at me, I would always go to her, she would encourage me. I'd be like, okay, let me try again. I go back to class. Now it's time for practical. And they're like, no, don't do this. Just watch people doing. You can't manage. And I'm like, no, I'm in this class and I'm going to manage. So as the time goes by, maybe they say, no, okay, I don't. Maybe after class, I go through, I try to do it on my own. If it's microbiology, like we have to streak plates, things like that. So I'd go after class. Then once in class, they were like, who wants to do it? I said, I'll do it. So I went, showed the whole class how to perform the experiment, and they were all shocked. And then from that time, that's when they stopped, like they didn't stop me from doing any tests. Whatever we're doing, I'd be there too. Then we have internship, which was for 6 months. So I was supposed to do it at different hospitals. So the hospital that I was in, we had a very, I don't know if I can call her rude, but the boss of that hospital, she was like, "You're not going to do these tests lest you destroy something. So you just have to observe." And then we had the board meeting once, and then she goes and asks me, "Don't you think of getting a prosthetic hand? Maybe it can help you." And that's in front of people. She hurt me. I can't lie. I cried that day because I was like, there's no way she can tell me this. For all these years
Mhm.
I've lived, I've not thought about doing it. But now you are coming. I don't know who she thought she was. And she was like, no, try it. And I said, no. So the lab that we're at was a bit smaller. So the next month we moved to a bigger lab. And that woman was like, as I said, just be observing things. So when she's not around, I'd ask the woman who's in the section, "Can I please do it?" She's like, "Okay, sure." So she once caught me doing the work and she's like, "What did I tell you?" Then I was like, "Madam, but look at how I'm doing it." And then I showed her, I'm explaining to her, I'm like, "You do like this, you do it this way." And since then, she just never said anything. She's like, "Oh, okay, good." That's all she said.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, then I went my final semester, went back to class, and at least I found lecturers that were understanding. So if they ask me, "Do you want to?" Then I say yes, they'll do it. They'll allow me to do it. If I say, "Ah, no, it's okay, I'll do it next time," it would be okay. So yeah, I did face a lot of challenges. My first semester, also I went for internship, but the rest of the semesters, I think people could see that this girl wants to do what she wants to do. So even though they tried to stop me, I would still do it either way.
Oh, wow. That's a very interesting story. And I can see how you had to become your own advocate throughout
Mm-hmm.
the whole process,
Yes.
and how people had their own beliefs about what you could and couldn't do. It's like they were judging your ability
Mm.
based off of something they don't understand, because you
Mm-hmm.
lived with this your whole life. So when you say you can do something, it's because
I know that I
you know you
can.
can do it, right? So really great to know that you had the confidence to advocate for yourself. So it takes me back now to your high school experience as well, and even in primary school. How did you find the support from your teachers? Because I'm sure you had to go through different teachers, different classes.
Mhm.
Kids may have had their own perceptions, but how was it in terms of support from the teachers? Were they supportive enough, or what was your experience?
In primary, I think maybe it's my dad because my dad was a teacher there. So either he gave them a heads up on don't talk about her, or maybe it was just them themselves. I don't know. But I received so much love from my teachers. They accepted me from day one. I've never had a situation where I was called out to say don't or don't. And I've always been shown love from primary. Secondary, the same thing also. I didn't face any criticism from teachers. No.
Okay, that's really good. Now let's talk about mindset.
Mm-hmm.
How do you personally define disability?
So I tried to make a poem once. but then I didn't manage to finish it. But for me, I feel like a disability is an inability to perform a specific task. That means, in as much as we can't do everything, there's still some things that we can do. So I feel like a disability to me is just being unable to do everything. We can do some things, but we just can't do everything.
Ah, so then we are talking about you have ability, but it's limited.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What inner strength or mindset has helped you to keep going when things are feeling very difficult?
I think the Holy Spirit, I feel like he's been my greatest comforter because I can't say it's the people who talk to me, the people who encourage me. People always talk, but it's just not the same. But I've grown up in a home where I always believe that God is there for you regardless. And whenever time gets hard, I'd always pray. And for some reason, I just feel certain peace. And I'll be like, you've managed yesterday, you can go today, and you go through tomorrow. So I feel like the Holy Spirit has been my guide from day one.
Okay, amazing. And at what point did you stop seeing your difference as a limitation and start seeing that there's purpose in this?
I think when I became a monitress in primary, the fact that
Oh,
they chose me out of everyone in class, I was like, okay, this might mean something. I know it's small, like you're just a monitress, but for me, it actually held a big responsibility because I never thought someone would see me to have so much passion to actually be saying, writing noisemakers, telling people to keep quiet. So that's when I started realizing that I actually have a purpose. Also, when I see someone with a disability, maybe wanting to be behind the scenes, they're feeling scared. You talk to them much and they'll be like, no, I can't do this. They're going to laugh at me. So that's what made me say that, okay, I can speak out for someone because I have the confidence. So I can help someone to be confident through my words.
okay. That's very encouraging. And so take me through your journey. Now you come back from India.
hmm
And by the way, when you went to India, did you go like for 3 years straight or you used to come back to visit?
Mommy was like, the next time I'm seeing you is when you come with your degree. So the whole 3 years I was there.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God. Even when people like from there go home, you close
Yes. The hostel would
school.
just be empty or just a few of us. And we're like, it's fine.
What? That's amazing. So when did you get done with your studies?
Last year.
So you went in 2022.
Yes, 2022 to
Okay.
2025.
Okay. And
Mhm.
so when you came back, what was the journey like? How did you navigate job hunting? Just tell me a little bit more about from when you came back
Mhm.
to where you are right now.
Okay, so after coming back, I realized that I have to get a license for my course, a Zambian license. So I went to HPCZ to find out more about the requirements. Then I realized that what we learn in India is different from what we learn in Zambia. So I applied to UTH if I could volunteer. I also applied to Levy as well. And I sent applications, but it took a while. So I kept going back and forth with Levy because it's closer to home. Then that's how I went, and I just kept praying about it, hoping that something will come up. And I explained to one of the bosses that the reason why I want to do this is just to get experience. That even as I'm writing my exam, I'll know what to write because it's way different from what we learned in India. So I thank God they picked me at Levy. So I've been doing my internship there. I started last year, I think around October, just getting hands-on experience on how it's done in Zambia.
Oh, then you will attempt to get
The
your.
license, yes.
Okay, okay, that's interesting. And so, how are you navigating the internship? Now it's the real life world.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's such a huge hospital.
hmm
How's the journey so far?
It's good and bad. It's good in a way that at least I get to see how it's done in the road. As you said, I'm now treating real patients, we're getting to run tests for them. But I feel like it's limiting me. I'm the type of person who wants to be out there, but this course makes me want to be behind the scenes. So I'm actually trying to see how I can shift from doing this course to doing something that will make me speak to people, that to show them that, oh, she's disabled, but look at what she's doing, look at how she's handling these tasks. Because in the lab, I'm just running samples, the doctors are the ones who are giving them the results. So I feel like I'm being very limited there.
Okay. And I think It's interesting. That's how you build a career. I
Mm,
think some of us also just started off, like for me, I started off in accounting because I studied accounting. But as I was doing my work, I began to identify other
mm,
areas of interest, found
mm-hmm.
myself in business process improvement,
Okay.
found myself right now I'm in operations, and only God knows where I'm going from
From
here,
here.
right? So I feel like we need to change the way we view and approach our initial qualification,
Mm-hmm.
because in certain societies, the first degree is just a basis to get you into the job market, right?
Exactly. To be put in the
People
system.
study, yeah, people study film, literature, but you find they can work in a bank, in a
Yes.
hospital
True.
out there. But for us here, it's like whatever I studied, that's what I must do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think our generation sort of is going to change the way work is done, in the
Mm-hmm.
sense that we are going to be the ones that are able to pivot into
Yes.
other industries or into other spaces.
Mm-hmm.
Even for me, like being a traditional accountant behind the scene, is not really me.
Mm-hmm.
I might have enjoyed it in the beginning, but I also began to realize that I love people. I'm a people person.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that is what made me go into now operations. So I hope that through your work and as you do your work, you get to identify areas in which you can pivot. And it doesn't even have to be at work. You can still
Yeah.
do the lab work,
Mm-hmm.
but you can pursue other interests on weekends
Outside.
after work, and continue to find what you love,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm happy that you are realizing that early on. It
Yeah.
took me like 6 years of doing
Really?
accounting for me to be like,
This is
okay,
not
do
for
I
me.
really like this that much? But yeah, yeah. Okay. And even in the professional spaces so
Mm-hmm.
far, dealing with patients, right? Or dealing with other people in the medical field, has there been any perceptions about your abilities,
Mm-hmm.
or is everything just going like okay during your internship?
One thing I've realized is how I carry myself. Because I feel like if I'd carry myself, said I can't do this, it'd have been a whole different story. But from day one, the moment I was put, I was determined and I would always work where I can. And since people could see that, okay, I'm actually capable of doing it, they've never limited me or anything like that. No.
Okay, so
Hmm.
I guess then that energy that you carry is what reflects other people. So if you used to
Yes.
always like carry this low demeanor,
Like I can't do this, I can't do that.
yes. Okay,
Mm.
I'm learning something. Now let's talk a little bit about leadership and advocacy. You have held leadership roles at church, right? What motivated you into leadership? I see you already started leadership at a young age. You mentioned being a monitress in class, but what just fuels this passion for you to want to lead?
I think maybe because I like helping people. So I feel like even
Mm.
being a leader at church made me feel like if there are those who feel like they can't, I can help them and push them forward to say that you can do it. So being a leader actually helps me have that church that I'm able to motivate people, to help those who are low. So I think that's what drove it because I love to help others. I like to see if I can, I would do anything to help you.
Okay.
Hmm.
And when we now talk about advocacy, what sort of advocacies are close to your heart? When you say you want to advocate or you're an advocate, who would you really love to advocate for
For
and
people
why?
living with disabilities.
Okay.
Yes, because there are very few people like me, honestly, those who are confident about how they're born. And I want to change that. I want to make people who are born disabilities know that they're in this world for a reason and that there's nothing that can stop them. They need to have that passion to show up. They have to have that passion to want to do more in life and not just limit themselves to say, okay, because I'm disabled, I can't do this, I can't do that. So I'm trying to be an advocate to change that trajectory. Also to change the mindset of people who are okay, like who are abled. They also limit us because you be like, you can't do this. You know, they limit us from stopping what we want to do. So I'm tackling these two. The first ones are people with disabilities, showing them that they can do much more. I'm also trying to show the world that give us space to learn, give us space to grow. Don't discourage us even before you can see what we can do. So that's my aim.
Okay. And other than just the perceptions that society has, Do you think there are any other gaps in how society supports people with disabilities?
Definitely the job markets. If we do the statistics, there are so many people who are there are very few people who are disabled who are in jobs, not because they don't have the qualifications, but because they think that they're not ready to do so. If we check banks, let's talk about customer service, so many jobs, you will not find someone who's disabled. Why? Because society thinks as though we can't do it.
I hear you. And
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking that in recent times, I noticed that Pick and Pay has a policy, I think, because I've noticed that when you go to their stores, you find they've hired people who are deaf.
Mm,
Because, I mean, it's if you're at the till, you don't really need to listen for anything, right?
exactly.
So I think organizations and companies need to do a greater job
Mm-hmm.
to also deliberately and intentionally look at what roles can be done even by a person who has got a certain disability
Yes, true.
so that everyone is included.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There are some organizations that have a deliberate diversity policy,
Mm.
but that diversity is only limited to, oh, we must have a good balance between female and male.
Mm.
But that doesn't include everyone. So
Yes.
I think the diversity policies need to be more inclusive to recognize that diversity also includes people with different abilities as
Mm-hmm.
well. And I think that's one gap
Needs to be
that
filled.
needs to be filled.
Mm.
Yeah. And so now when it comes to purpose, how do you define success?
Hmm. Achieving your goals.
Okay.
Yeah, I think success is when you actually feel like you aimed for something, you're able to do it, so you achieved your goals. I feel that's how I can define success.
Okay.
Yes.
And how do you just manage ambition, self-care, and your well-being?
How do I manage? By making a plan, I think, because you can't do so much at once, but at least you know if it comes to self care, you have to make sure you have the right hygiene tactics. When it comes to ambition, you set goals to say, okay, this is my plan. I need to do A, B, C, D by this month. So I feel like just having a plan, setting a goal, and having targets, that's what helps you have the ambition or achieve the goals that you have set.
Okay. I
Mm.
love the aspect that you brought out about planning because I'm sure that with the advocacy work that you plan to do, plus your full-time job, plus
Mm-hmm.
your leadership roles at work, you have to be intentional.
Yeah,
Because if you're juggling a lot of things, you might not
it's
have time
hectic.
to just take care of yourself.
Mm.
You might not have time to exercise, eat
Mm-hmm.
healthy. And especially for young professionals, that's just a common thing. There's no time. So we end up eating unhealthy food. We end up
Mm-hmm.
just working and doing all these side gigs as well. So
Yes.
it's very important to just plan and be intentional. Okay. And I would like you to talk to someone in the audience that's
Okay.
watching this video who feels discouraged about their future because they're disabled. What
Okay.
would you say to them?
So, to anyone who's disabled, what I would like to say is there's still life out there. Don't let society define who you are. You be your own definition. You achieve your goals, achieve your purpose, because I know deep down there's something you really want to do, but the world makes you feel like you can't do it. So, no, don't limit yourself. Go for it, because trust me, with you and God by your side, you can achieve great things more than you can even imagine. So, just take heart, be patient, take it one day at a time, and definitely you'll get there.
That's such a powerful message. And if you could speak to your younger self, the young
Mhm.
Thandiwe, who was scared at some point because she's like, oh my God, I don't have 10 fingers.
Mhm.
What would you say to her right now with what you have learned and known over the years?
I would say that I'm dreaming right now. Because I
You're
honestly
living a
didn't think,
dream, eh?
yeah, I didn't think I'd be where I am. I've met so many people who've actually come to my aid. I'm in a foundation, Hope Empowerment Foundation. We've just started, but that's one thing that I always prayed about also. So that foundation basically helps people. We have the orphans department, the less privileged department, the disabled department, even the mental health. It's just like students at UNZA who started this thing, but it's one thing that's helping us, and we hope that it can also change the society. So to my younger self, I don't know, I would just say that you had a dream, and it's now coming to life. So I want to thank you for not giving up, for pushing, even though it got hard, but you kept pushing, pushing. And now look where we are. And I believe this is just the beginning. Greater things are coming.
Profound. Okay. And so, Tandy, as we begin to wrap up, I just want us to reflect a little bit.
Mm.
Where are you seeing yourself in the next 10 years? For example, 5 to 10 years. Where do you see yourself going?
I see myself, I see myself far.
Yeah.
I will be, where do I even start from? But I know that this advocacy will change lives. When I go to offices, when I go to buildings, I will see disabled people there. I will hopefully start my own foundation that can help people and just let them be comfortable, give them a safe space. And 10 years from now, I also see myself married, of course.
Yes.
Yes, just living a life filled with purpose, hope, and showing the society that I was once this young girl who thought I couldn't make it in life, but here I am now, changing the world one step at a time.
Okay. And I hope in 10 years you will come back to this video and see what you have projected for yourself. And I wish you
Definitely.
all the success that
Thank
you would
you.
have to achieve those goals.
Thank you.
And so, what legacy do you hope to leave?
The legacy I want to leave is just to show the world that there's this girl who wanted to change the trajectory of people's mindsets, showing them that a disability is not an inability. That's the legacy I want to leave. To show people that you can do anything that you put your mind to. Even though you're able, people who are able also fail. They also feel like they limit themselves. So I want to remove that barrier of limitation, showing people that once they have a goal, just pray about it, make a request known to God, and they'll be successful.
Okay.
Yes.
That's amazing. Tandiwe, I have really enjoyed this interview with you, learning about how you navigated life with disability. And I hope that our audience would be able to connect with you. You are using Thandiwe Chipeta on your socials, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so we will put a link to your socials in the
Okay.
video so that people can just get in touch with you, especially those who are interested about the work that you're doing
Mhm.
in advocacy. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful.
All right, and to you in the audience, what has stood out for you in this episode? Please don't forget to indicate that in the comment section. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching the Money and People podcast. Bye.